and today I'm going to be showing you guys how I draw my character BellaDonna. She is a dragon, and she is very fierce and mighty and devious, so I like to put that in her pose. So, in this, I am starting by drawing out her head and doing freestyling art, so I have no reference, and I'm just kind of winging it. The ears were pointed down, and that kind of didn't flow well, so I changed them to point up so that they flowed in the same direction almost as her horns. So once I have that, I shrunk down the image and went ahead and tried to make a pose of her full body to be able to fit in this kind of rectangular canvas, which can be hard, so that was a little bit of a challenge for me if I wanted just any pose. I realized that the pose itself was a little bit too bland or dull, so I wanted to add a little bit more features into it. So I ended up raising her entire arm so that it looked like she was holding up her claw. And then I went ahead and added in some little bits of features in her mane and fur and claws before I started adding in the final sketching. So with the final sketching, I usually don't. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't use it. It depends whether or not the sketch layer, which is what you're seeing right here, I think is good enough. So I didn't because I felt like it was a little bit too messy than I wanted it to be for this particular piece. So what I'm doing in this section of the art process is just outlining the lines that work, just outlining what lines help the image overall versus take away from it. So what I'm doing is finding what lines for like the ears and the mane, for example, show the image best versus a bunch of the scrappier sketch layer lines, which kind of just helped me out by only showing me a wider range of where I could place her features. So now I'm just kind of outlining what lines and what segments of the artwork I feel are most important. So once I have completed that, I am going to start on the background. For the background, I am choosing a dark color so that we can see the character pop better on screen. So with that, I start out by coloring the sections of the character that I feel I'm using the most color, which is this light lavender purple. Once I do the light lavender purple and find all the areas which I want that color, I'm moving then onto the next least used color, just so that I can cut my workload a little bit shorter, make it a little bit easier, even though it's not completely making it easier, it feels better for my own process. So once I'm done with that lavender, then I work on the color of the mane and just color in everything that is the next color. And then once I'm done with that, I fill in the last color, which is the very light lavender, which is used for the inside of her wings, as well as the underside of her stomach scales. And now that I've sectioned out the colors that I'm using in the piece, once that is all set, I am going to start highlighting things ready to shade. So that is one of the most fun parts I feel in my own process, is the shading. Once I do the shading, I get to round out the features in sort of a 3D look. I'm not an expert at it yet, but I am always improving, so it's a feature that I feel can take just as much time as me doing a flat shading, so once I have the option, I like to go, usually with a more elaborate piece like this than I'm used to, going the long route and just doing the more detailed option. So right here I zoom out so that the highlighting color does not distract from the video all that much, as that's a little bit of a pet peeve of mine. Once I zoom back in though, I will start to shade in a darker purple every kind of nook and cranny of the piece that should be shadowed a bit more. So again, I'm not an expert at it, but I go lighter and then darker in the little crannies. And once I get that, then I kind of back away physically, and I squint at the picture to see where the tones are lighter and darker, and where I need to balance out the piece with more shading or more lighting, and then I sort of get it all together. So once I finish her lavender purple shading, I go on to shade her mane without selection, and just kind of make it look like rough sections of her actual hair. So now that I've done that, I add a little bit more pink shade to the lighter color, and then I go ahead for the lighting effect. So I use a luminosity, and I make a bunch of random white shapes just sectioning off the rounder parts of the character, so that I blur the edges of those, and it makes it look a little bit more round, a little bit more popping out, a little bit more 3D, which I enjoy in the piece. So, that is my process for drawing my character in this video, and I had fun. I hope you guys had fun and enjoyed watching, and here is my final image. So thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys have a fabulous rest of your day or night or afternoon or whatever. So, have a great day!